Hello and welcome to Super Bunny Hop. My name is George Weedman and I'm at GDC so you can stay home and not have to deal with the traffic. I'm here with Jay Tholen, the mind behind Hypnospace, which is a game that kind of makes me feel like the mind behind it might be sort of a crazy, eccentric character. How are you today?
Doing well. Thanks.
So, the first question I have for you today is why?
Did I make the game? Did we make the game? Boy, that's a good one.
Granny creams, hot butter ice cream.
Can I sit on my foot?
Of course.
Okay. So, I like the old internet. And the game started as a little game where you're on the information superhighway and you're a little car on an endless runner track.
Is that what became Outlaw?
Yes, it became the in-game game Outlaw. And so it was like a play on information superhighway, you know, and you apprehended bad dudes on this highway. And then I added a sort of level select screen, which was a fake operating system where you find out more about the internet people that you're going to track down. And then people on the internet responded more to the operating system parts. Mm-hmm. And then the car parts, people were like, so we just pivoted it more to a fake operating system.
So you're saying that the GUI fake internet gameplay appealed to people a lot more than a traditional racer. Do you think you might be onto something here? Are conventional archetypes something that we're not finding as appetizing as we used to?
Maybe, but really, I think the racer thing, like there's a lot of bright, loud indie games that are fast and like actiony and like they have pastels in your face and stuff and loud quirky sounds and stuff, and I think that is easier to get lost in like a lot of other things like that. And whereas the OS is immediately recognizable, it's like an operating system, and but it feels like a magical one.
And it's also novel. You don't see that a lot outside of the past, I want to say like 2 going on 3 years of some other there's a very small minority of games that play like this.
Yeah, it's kind of a burgeoning, is that how you say that? Genre?
Burgeoning?
Yeah. How do you say that word?
I think it's
burgeoning genre.
Burgeoning
genre. Yeah. So yeah, it's neat. One of the things though is like a lot of these games that have a fake operating system, you can't really do anything with it. Like the icons you can't drag them, or you can't. There's no reason to be able to do that in our game other than just to make it feel real.
Yeah, make it feel like you're in a free trial version of Windows 95 prototype.
But I think that helps because once people realize it feels like a real operating system, they don't know where the boundaries then are as to like what kind of fake software did they hide in here. Like, so it makes it feel exciting. Like you're exploring.
How deep it'll go. How bad is Professor Helper going to screw up your session here?
Pretty bad.
So one thing that a lot of things we notice. This is a mix of like GeoCities and Zynga and LiveJournal. Is there any particular one of our embarrassing online records that takes precedence over the others when the inspirations for Hypnospace were coming through?
I don't know how much I've admitted this to anyone, but if you go to Corey Paul's page, some of his diary entries about fake having a girlfriend or not having a girlfriend are my legit LiveJournal entries from high school, and I copied and pasted them and just changed a few little words to make them. My high school experience was horrible. I was like,
that just means you're normal.
That was me, basically, except the picture.
Yeah, I was about to ask, is that something you wanted to know, is if that Brassy Kid's fedora saxophone photo was a real kid, or...
It was, So on Facebook and Twitter, I put out a call. Like, anyone have pictures of themselves circa 1999 that you can send me, and I will process them to make them look like they fit in the game. Okay. And I got a bunch of them. I didn't sign any contracts with these people, so they could probably sue me.
This is such a professional operation.
Yeah, I know.
I remember after playing the beta, there was a lot of discussion on the Discord. You guys were incorporating a lot of fan submissions in order to throw this thing together.
Yeah.
Was that something you were planning to do in your development process, or did that was that a spark midway through that
Not like
you would get a lot of content and a lot of novel content by kind of fan sourcing it? Is that the term?
Yeah, you could say that, but like honestly, we added all the fan stuff in on like the last day because so our publisher thought, well, first of all, I thought it would be cool for them to be involved and make something for the game, but he also wanted to have there be value to this meta game we had going on in our Discord, and so people got coins and they could exchange the coins for having their name in the game or putting a page in there. So then we added tags to their pages, and you can only find their pages by searching the right tags, like bees or whatever. And if you search Discord, I think you'll find all their pages actually.
Oh my god,
And
I
then
never would have thought to put something in the search term from like later than 2005.
Yeah, but we just wanted them to see their own pages. But that's what happened with that. Though I did fan source a lot, or crowdsource or something on Twitter, because, well, we needed bad art. And if you hire a professional
To make bad art.
hey, I learned 3D while making this game, and it was perfect because my 3D, I did Professor
So
Helper.
the Celtic Wizard is...
That's not mine.
Oh.
That's a friend of mine.
Because but they look beautifully like first attempts.
He was only halfway done with that guy, and he didn't put the robe on the other half, so he rotates, and you see like a naked shoulder for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, leave it, don't finish it. We need him to be inexplicably half naked, like the wizard if or whatever.
Wow, you're
It was really good.
embracing a lack of polish. I remember 2 years, not 2 years ago, more like 4 years ago, at GDC, they were doing the Lost Levels series of unconferences out in the park. I don't know if they still are, but one guy was going on about how some artsy or experimental indie games could embrace a lack of polish.
Yeah.
Did not actually see it until just now, but it's worked out.
And
This
we're up
thing
for
is
an
weird.
IGS art
It
award.
worked! It somehow worked!
Yeah.
Okay, what has fan response been like by their age or generation? Are there kids who weren't from the 90s who don't get it?
No.
Really?
Yeah, not really. I mean, maybe in some comments somewhere on YouTube, but if they purchased the game, they get it. Like, and we didn't really make it, like, the people are all just very relatable, no matter where you're from. The technology, I think we teach through the pages how it all comes together, you know. So we haven't had that problem. What we do have is a lot of old people, when I say old, I mean like over 28, who were old enough to remember that internet, saying, this is good for me, but high school kids aren't going to remember it. But I think they think it's cool.
Thinking as well was that a lot of these jokes are just not going to make it past them. Like
I think they think it's cool.
Clippy.
It's like, you know, vaporwave, or
Right, yeah.
and a lot of those people are teenagers, and they didn't remember that originally, or like synthwave even.
It's kind of like nostalgia filtered through a cynical modernist lens, and
Right.
I don't know if I want to make too broad of a comparison here, but there's a lot of like ironic, weird art movements going on nowadays. I see your game as like a reflection of the same sort of attitudes reflected by Tim and Eric Andre, and it almost weirdly seems like some kind of revival of dadaism or cubism.
Yeah.
Like in the 1920s, people were seeing the world become something crazy and not understandable, so art started to reflect that.
Yeah.
Were Tim and Eric Andre inspirations as well?
I think I definitely like their work. Actually, the inspirations were all like, if you go look on the old GeoCities archives and these old things, these pages are legit weird.
Does the humor just make itself?
Yeah.
Go back and
You don't have to fake it. There's some real weird
Is it
stuff.
still out there? Do you have to Wayback Machine it, or?
Yeah, there's a website, oocities.org, and they have the 2009 capture of GeoCities before it was shut down. You can just go look at the whole thing, pretty much.
I did not think about this for a good 20 years. I was about 8 years old, in the 4th grade, and my first attempt at games media was a GeoCities Pokemon fan page.
Oh yeah.
And I just completely blocked this memory out until this conversation.
It might be
just
up,
now.
because if you
No.
type oocities.org or .com/, this would be good for the video if it's there. and then slash like the GeoCities number and then the neighborhood and your URL. There you can browse the directories too. It might be there.
My old Pokemon page. I'm gonna have to delete everything.
So, storytelling strikes me as unconventional, but there's still archetypes in there. There's characters who go through developments that you follow through their journals rather than directly interacting with them themselves. It's all off camera, but there's still a progression to it. It still flips from act to act to act. I was wondering what sort of archetypical storytelling model did you follow? Is this an Aristotelian 3-act structure, or are we emulating the Joseph Campbell hero's journey here?
Oh, you want to get in on this?
Get Nelson.
Okay, yeah, Nelson, our writer, I invited him to come here. He's a narrative designer and co-writer, and he would have loved to have answered this question, but I'll just shrug and be like, I just made it up as I went along.
She's the narrative designer of this, then.
Yeah, he came in, so the game started as a big disparate collection of web pages, and I did have a lot of these characters already made, and a lot of the plots of what would happen to them made, but it didn't become a big cohesive thing until he came on. He came on and guided all of these crazy, because if it was up to us, we would have just made a big internet, and you just went
Without the game attached?
Yeah, well, maybe not up to him, but if it was up to me, you would have just browsed the big internet and downloaded stuff, and
Messed up your desktop.
yeah, and I don't think that would sell as much, though. I think people need that, need that progression.
Yeah, there's structure to the chaos.
Yeah, there's definitely structure. So that's Nelson's baby, though, funneling it into something that goes somewhere.
So let's talk about the music for a bit. Why is the band named Seepage?
I forgot who, I think a developer named Jeremy Mitchell made that name up. He works at, worked at Double. But,
So there's a double fine.
and Queen Jazz made that new metal song, Seepage new metal. Yeah, and I did do the harmonies at the end of that song.
Is there anywhere we can find the lyrics to the Seepage song?
Yeah, I'll need to post them. And a nice Easter egg is I allowed no references in the whole game. You probably noticed there's no real references. Not even I didn't let you rhyme anything. Maybe Squishers is a little bit of a reference.
I thought Squishers might be a
Yeah.
weird amalgamation between Gushers and they look like Pokemon, but I don't know where the squish part of the
Squishy.
word
I was saying Garbage Pail Kids, a little slimy, little that kind of, but in the Seepage song, in the chorus, every line is a doom. Knee deep in the dead. They're all doom. They're all doom, and I let it stay because I thought it was cute.
It's doom music?
Yeah, it's basically a new metal song with doom episodes as the lyrics.
So, today on the internet, unlike the 90s, we are dealing with an internet of incomprehensible content, where a literal astronomical amount of stuff is being uploaded every single second. And it's impossible, as people are finding out, for companies to hire enough of a human teams to screen everything. And we're passing that bill off to machine learning algorithms to take those jobs. Do you think that as the years and the decades roll on and machine learning improves, will they ever be able to exhibit the brilliant foresight and intelligence of your average Hypnospace player?
This system is horrible for moderation, as you know. You probably tried to hammer a few things, and it's no, nothing wrong with it.
There's no penalty
Yeah,
for getting it wrong and
that's-
hammering everything.
I kind of like that the system's clunky in the game. It's kind of saying something about that. So I think there always has to be people. I mean, it'll ultimately get good enough probably to point to whatever you want it to point to, but I think there still needs to be some human, because they don't have an ethics like a machine, so there has to be some humans discussing what it's gonna pick out. So I don't know.
And last but certainly not least is if you had any trepidations or doubts that you might be making during the production of this game, if you had any doubts that you might be making something that could be making light of a aspect of our society that's gone terribly wrong, which is the proliferation of uncensored, unmoderated, unregulated social media content, did you ever feel uncomfortable when making these web pages where teenagers are picking on each other and threatening to kill each other with silly decapitation gifts?
Yeah, right. Well, my coder Mike, infrequently, would say, "Hey Jake, can you tone down Zane's page a little bit?"
It would be Zane.
Yeah, or a few other things. And I appreciated that because I was going for authenticity, so I was method acting while I was making Zane's page, and I was like,
Mike was toning you down.
yeah, he was toning me down, like, because I was getting into it, like, like, I don't know, doing the corn scat while I was, like, writing or whatever, you know, and but the corn scat, it sounds like a weird dance. Anyway, I think I intentionally wrote each of these people, like, no matter what you find out about them initially from their page, to have something you can find about them that just makes them, they have something interesting or good about them to where hopefully you'll see them as another valuable human as you are. You know, like there's something interesting. Like some of my best friends from back home, like, are, if you first meet them, they're like doofy sports dudes who would like crush a beer can on their head type thing. But then I think my personal ideology is anyone, even if that's your first impression of them, if you get to know them long enough, I think they're infinitely interesting. There's something in there about this person that you don't know, like in these characters, that is just unique and valuable and interesting. And so I tried to make sure everyone in this game, because, you know, I don't know who's going to play it, maybe they'll really see themselves in some character. So I don't want a single character to be like a written off, like, oh yeah, that's that kind of guy.
That struck me as kind of a part of the weird idealism and nostalgia to it, is that you see them apologize and like kind of take it back. At least in the arcs I'm playing through right now, and that's something that does not often happen on the real life internet, either now or back then.
Yeah. So well, some people are apologizing because their parents made them, which you can find out later. So it depends who we're talking about.
So, do you have any other comments you would like to throw out? We would love to hear them.
Like and subscribe. This is an awesome channel. And buy Hypnospace Outlaw.